I feel like a deer.
Come, let's go.
It's on nightfall the tarantulas start planning dinner. Prowling insects make a tasty bite. Hidden at the entrance, the spider can sense every step of its wandering prey. The vibrations of the silken radar system signal the whereabouts and size of the potential meal. Usually tarantulas sit and wait in ambush until the prey comes close to them. But if they're really hungry, they'll venture out and stalk their food. Within the blink of an eye, the spider pounces and impales its prey on its deadly fangs. Once back in the burrow, it takes its time to prepare the kill. While the injected venom paralyzes and slowly liquefies the prey's inner organs, many spiders will lay down a silky feeding mat. It's not yet known why, but it seems to be a spidery form of food wrapping, providing packaged meals which can be stored away and tucked into later. Spiders can't eat solid food. With no jaws and only a tiny slit-like mouth between their fangs, they rely on their venom to turn their prey's innards into a creamy, highly nutritious soup. They use their powerful sucking stomach to drink up the carcass. One big meal can last for months. Tarantulas are carnivores and not fussy. Many are known as bird-eating spiders, but in fact birds are rarely on the menu. Just about anything else, small and alive, is.
Yes, I see that.
On the second patella?
Yep.
Back at their field camp, Dr. Raven and Dr. Bear take a close look at their latest find.
And the front one. If you had a choice between...
The important question is, does this spider belong to a known species, or does it show new characteristics?
Same.
And here.
Clearly thicker than 4, but too subby.
Even though tarantulas are the biggest spiders in the world, the differences between species can be small and very hard to spot.
I can't see the underneath at the moment.
See the...
Leg by leg they search for clues. Slowly, a catalogue of body features builds up.
Looks like it's definitely not sterling eye.
Okay.
So pass it over, I need to see the...
Only detailed examinations back at the museum will reveal her spider family tree. These baseline studies are crucial for further research on its ecological role, lifestyle, and venom.
That really makes
From amphibians, birds and crustaceans, to insects, reptiles and mammals. Hundreds of ecosystems, thousands of habitats, millions of species, but only one definitive guide with all the answers. Animals A to Z, Monday to Friday at 19:30 on Animal Planet.
In nature, life is an endless battle for survival. For both predator and prey, The race is on to outwit the enemy. Neither will give up their life without a fight. In the race for survival, predators have become more and more specialized. It takes a special kind of hunter to make a meal of an impala. But specialization comes at a price. The cheetah has sacrificed his strength for speed and agility. Where there are bees, there are bee eaters. And for the fish, there are kingfishers. Specialization is no defense. In the evolutionary arms race, nothing escapes.
On the supreme hunters of Africa. Big Cat Diary, Monday to Friday at 18:30 on Animal Planet.
Stuart Douglas not only breeds his tarantulas for the pet market, he also milks their potent venom for medical research.
There's a number of procedures, but the one I like to use is the anaesthetization and electric stimulation technique. And I anesthetize them with carbon dioxide. I find that you get a lot more venom yield from that technique, and it's a lot less damaging to the spiders. A lot of people out there actually cut the glands out, and once you do that, the spider's dead, of course. My captive bred one's mainly for venom sales, so every spider I lose is a great loss to me.
In less than a minute, the spider lady is blissfully unconscious, and Stuart quickly sets up for the milking. He's only got a couple of minutes before she'll wake up in a bad mood. Seated in a milking cradle, the spider's venom glands are stimulated by a slight electrical current. Carefully timed shocks to her fang base prompt the venom to flow. Tarantulas have been refining their toxins for millions of years, long before the dinosaur age. Their ancient venom could provide the key for major breakthroughs in human medicine. But it's still early days.
There's a lot of problems with venom collection, the slightest grain or hair in there, or sometimes the fang actually chips a little piece off and gets contaminated. So there's a lot of little tricks to it. It's not as easy as you make out, you know. But my company is very confident that we will be finding something in the venom that we supply. How long it takes and whether it'll actually happen, you know, is up to the animals.
And to the venom researchers. Analyzing the toxins is Dr. David Wilson from the pharmaceutical company Xenome.
Venoms offer a huge library of natural components that scientists couldn't really dream up.
Tarantula venom is deadly to small mammals and can kill the family dog in less than 30 minutes. But despite common fears, it is not known to be deadly to us.
We don't really know yet whether Australian tarantulas are all that dangerous to humans. We do know that they do cause periods of vomiting over several hours. Nobody's died yet, but there are so many species that just haven't been characterized yet that we really can't answer that question.
What Dr. Wilson tries to determine is whether the venom could lead to a new kind of drug, a radical new painkiller to treat cancer or AIDS without the current problems of addiction or tolerance. Such a drug would kick in when morphine can't help anymore. Xenome's team is the only one worldwide to explore the toxins of Australian tarantulas. US scientists have just developed a new heart medication courtesy of a South American species, and Chinese research teams are on the case as well. Rather than posing a deadly threat to us, tarantulas could save our lives. Deep in the rainforests of the tropical north lurk the least known of all Australian tarantulas. And they're a diverse bunch. Some grow to impressive palm size while others could hide in a matchbox. None of the spiders have been properly named yet, and so it's here that Dr. Raven and Dr. Bear come on their latest search. The wet undergrowth makes spider spotting a slippery challenge.
Okay.
Just grab hold of this big one here when you go down. It's very slippery here.
Yeah, it's quite slippery.
There's a big wait a while here, so... Yeah, just be careful.
Maybe
Look at the sharp line.
Tropical tarantulas have worked out their own clever way of sheltering. Every flat rock or hollow branch is a potential spider home.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Okay, I can see a web. Where's the spider? Oh, she's getting up. I got her. There she is.
Oh, it looks good. So do you think that's maybe a new one?
Dunno, it might be.
This first catch looks promisingly different, but the little male can't provide all the clues.
If this is a male, we need a few just to make sure that we've got a female, because this could be quite exciting, you know. It'd be nice to pin these guys down. They get a lot bigger than that, I think. So we'll see if we can find another one.
Yep.
Okay.
Young males don't show all the characters of their family, and to name a new species with certainty, Dr. Raven needs to find a matching female. She should be living nearby.
So let's have a look under that one.
Look, that's there.
Oh, look, there she is.
Oh, yes.
Oh, beauty. And look at that, completely different.
Not
But
down in any way.
no bar at all. We better get down to work. See if we can get her, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We'll just see how she's going to go. Now, let's see if we go in there. Okay.
Got her. Okay.
Oh, she's beautiful. Yeah.
So it's not too bad to get them here.
Yeah, they're a lot easier to find than the ones in the desert.
Yes, absolutely. We take her home and then we have a look at how the characters are going.
Okay.
Okay.
Next one.
The spider team has completed the field mission. The next task is waiting back at headquarters. Within weeks or months of the mating, depending on the species, the female spins a strong papery cocoon that safely holds her eggs. Turning and ventilating the egg sac for hours every day, she makes sure the eggs inside don't stick together. The mother-to-be vigilantly stands guard over her brood and only rarely leaves the sac to tend to the nursery. Some species completely block the entrance to keep anything out that could harm the cocoon. Invading ants pose a serious threat. As the weeks go by, she can feel the hatchlings kicking and pushing within the sac. It won't be long before they burst out. Depending on the species, the female spends months on her toes without food until her brood breaks out of their silky shell. They're pinned undersized and a bit wobbly on their 8 legs, but otherwise equipped with a perfectly working body. Hundreds of tiny hatchlings have to find their way to the exit, and Mum finally gets a break. But a high mortality rate means only 1 in 10 of these spiderlings will survive. But where to go from here? Instinctively, the little marchers follow the freshly laid silk to a resting spot in the nursery. The darker it is, the safer it feels. Here they will hang out together until their bodies harden up enough to face the outside world. Back from his field trip, Dr. Raven has preserved some of the collected spiders in alcohol. Now he must closely examine their bodies to decide which are new species. The rainforest tarantula looks very distinctive, and in typical spider fashion, its legs are the biggest giveaway.
His fourth legs are much thicker. From a leg you can just about learn anything you like about a lot of spiders because there's a lot of information on the legs. That's different. It's got a third claw.
The additional claw is remarkable.
What's going on between the chelicerae?
But the fangs will reveal something even more distinctive. Something Dr. Raven has rarely seen in 20 years of spider study. A small cluster of black spines between the fangs.
This is new. It's got intercrucial spines. Yep, this is new. Okay, let's go ahead. This is clearly a new species. It's really exciting because it's got characters that merge the problems of the separation of 2 genera. So it's not just simply another new species. It's something that may actually compromise 2 genera and the boundaries that we've set for these artificial little groups.
Now this new tarantula species needs a name, and the truly painstaking part of Dr. Raven's research begins. All critical body parts are separated, cleaned and prepared for scanning under the electron microscope. Mounted on stubs, the body parts are placed into a vacuum machine and coated with an extremely fine layer of gold. The scanner can magnify the gold-plated limbs up to 50,000 times, making tiny hairs appear like massive tree trunks.
When you put the specimen into the scanning electron microscope, your whole concept of the animal changes dramatically. You are in the substructure. You're in a different world altogether. We can see hairs within hairs within hairs. Even in some cases you can see bacteria stuck on the cuticle.
The shape of the hair tells much about its role, whether it's for food filtering or measuring temperature. Scanning allows Dr. Raven to build up a dictionary of characters, and put together, they determine the spider's family tree. Another member of the museum's spider team is biologist Marta Yanez. She specializes in the tarantulas of her native country, Mexico. Every few months a new batch of dead spiders arrives to join the queue for a name, but Marta's main work is with live animals. She brought a few hundred spiders with her from Mexico, so prized they must live at a top-secret location.
I can see myself working with tarantulas for many, many years. There's still lots of questions to answer.
Many of Marta's spiders have a troubled past. Some were confiscated from illegal pet traffickers as far away as Germany, and they're still in danger.
The location is kept secret because the whole genus Brachypelma is the only tarantula, the only spider actually that is protected. they are very valuable collection because we got here adults and also spiderlings. So it can be very attractive for people that trade with them to break in and to take the spiders out and selling them as pets.
Back in the 1970s, the beauty and easy temper of the brachypelma spiders started the pet craze around the world. They are the original pet and were almost plundered out of existence. Today they are protected worldwide, but the Mexican experience should sound a warning.
Populations are actually decreasing because of the habitat degradation and also because of illegal trafficking. So that's actually one of the biggest problems around the world. That's what do you do first? Do a study to know whether the species is in danger? Or do you really first protect the species straight away and then do the studies? In my opinion, you need to protect the species and then you do the studies.
In some countries, tarantulas are seen as a tasty snack. Here in Cambodia, locals prefer their tarantulas freshly caught. Spiced with a touch of salt and a hint of garlic, they end up as a stir-fried meal. But these hairy mouthfuls aren't just a snack for poor families. Tarantulas are big business. 4,000 of them have just arrived at the village of Skuon. Dug out of the forest and defanged one by one, the spiders are sold as live food to the market vendors. For many families, this crawly load is their only income, so competition is fierce. Sold off within the hour, the spiders quickly turn up at the market. Pickled in rice wine, they are sold as a traditional remedy for back pain and sleepless nights. But most end up hot and crispy. Affectionately known as Spiderville, Skuon is renowned for its hairy delicacies. Still warm, they're offered takeaway style at the busy market intersection. People travel from as far as the capital Phnom Penh, 90 kilometers away, to buy the crunchy treat for about 10 cents apiece. The real gourmets hand-pick their finger food. The legs have to be crunchy, the protein-rich bodies still juicy. To outsiders, this might look like extreme cuisine. To the locals, spiders have been a delicacy for hundreds of years. Just how the sheer numbers of hairy bites can be sustained is a frightening question.
Behind every strong family lies one very domineering female. Meet the Whiskers. Love, hate, rebellious teens, precocious pups, bitter enemies, constant drama. And you thought your family was dysfunctional. Meerkat and Nana, Animal Planet's brand new series. Starts Monday, 19th of September at 1900.
Animals of all sizes use rituals to test their stamina without the risk of personal injury. ibex test their opponents to the limit, jostling for position in a contest of courage and endurance. With bodies built for battle and skulls reinforced to take impact, some take the bull by the horns and go straight into head-to-head combat. Rituals have rules, but some rules are meant to be broken. And when rivals meet their match, it's time to throw down the gauntlet and engage in a duel of virility.
Police are back.
If there is severe animal cruelty, somebody's taken away to jail.
You can just shake his head and rip you open with the teeth that are sticking out like that.
There's a report from a woman. She claims to have witnessed someone dump out 2 dogs and about 10 cats.
Protecting the animals. Catching the criminals. Miami Animal Police. Fridays at 2000 only on Animal Planet.
10 days after emerging from the egg sac, the spiderling's soft bodies have begun to harden, and the rapidly growing brood literally crams up the nursery. For Mum, every move is a balancing act. Careful not to step on the babies, she delicately maneuvers around the nursery. Until now, the spiderlings have grown from the stored energy of their egg yolk. But now it's time for some real food. Small insects such as termites make a juicy meal, and the hungry young will take on anything that is smaller than they are. The 10% of spiderlings that reach maturity have a long life ahead of them. Males live for 4 to 5 years, but females can survive for an incredible 30 years. Only this early childhood is spent in a crowded household. Soon they'll venture out on their own. Once food runs short inside, the spiderlings will start cannibalizing each other. A sure sign it's time to leave and go it alone.
So, who are you and where do you come from? Let's figure this all out.
After months of research, Dr. Raven has now confirmed that his rainforest tarantula is in fact a new species. It's time for the official naming.
It's absolutely critical to name a species from a number of points of view, certainly from a conservation point of view, but also if you can put a name on it, you can actually do studies on the venom and publish those studies. There's also the issue that these spiders are very heavily under demand from the pet trade, and you've really got to know what's going on out there, who's being hit, which species is which species, so the sooner I can get names on these, the better.
The big moment has arrived. The anonymous little spider gets its very own name.
So we've got a new species, and Creamia is forced, it's the genus name. Creamia tropics. Tropics because it comes from the north tropics, and the X is a little twist on the end. It's T-R-O-P-I-X, a little twist because it's a crossover species, and it'll get those people who like having precise names a little twisted themselves.
Tropics has secured its passport into our scientific world. Whether it will be a ticket to exploitation or protection, only time will tell. But in Dr. Raven's eyes, there is no doubt about what they deserve, named or not.
There is one primary reason why tarantulas should survive. They have every right. They are a species as valid as we are. They have every right to exist. Everything else on top of that is secondary.
Tarantulas have been roaming the Earth for more than 300 million years. They've survived ice ages, meteor showers, myth and phobia. And modern man's fascination doesn't need to be a threat.
What I'd really like to see happen is that the humans who are involved with these animals get together. A really good cooperation between the professionals and the amateurs so that we have a good flow of information, that we're all helping each other help the spiders. That's the critical thing. The humans get together and help the animals.